I'd like to call this public meeting to order on September 28th, 2022 in the Township of Whistler. I'll start with roll call. Councillor Bailey.
Present.
Councillor Balmer.
Present.
Councillor Goida.
Present.
And Councillor Spoulos.
Present.
The purpose of this public meeting is to inform and provide the public with the opportunity to ask questions or to express views with respect to the proposed user fee and charges bylaw. Councillors are here to observe and listen to your comments. However, they will not make any decisions this evening. Township requests you notify email Mary Hassan at mhassan@whistler.ca or by phone at 519-763-1226, extension 222 if you wish to be on record regarding this matter. Please note the meeting is video and audio recorded and all electronic meetings are uploaded to the municipality's YouTube page. By registering to participate in the meeting by electronic means, you are consenting to having your likeness and comments recorded and posted on YouTube. The format of this public meeting is as follows. Township staff will present the purpose and details of the public meeting and any further relevant information. Following this, the public can obtain clarification, ask questions, express their views. Staff will attempt to answer questions or respond to concerns this evening. If this is not possible, staff will follow up and obtain the information. Responses will be provided when this matter is brought forward and evaluated by council at a later date. All right, I believe it's Ms. Hassan.
Hello, everyone. I'll have Ms. Hoyt-Fox just share the presentation materials. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next slide, please. So today's main objectives are to inform you about the township's finances and the 2023 proposed user fees and charges, and to receive feedback that staff and council consider before finalizing the user fees and charges bylaw. So we'll just hold the questions until the end of the presentation. Next slide, please. This is just a quick graphic on where township revenues come from in accordance with our budgets. So as you can see, property taxes is the highest amount, and then user fees, licenses, and fines the second highest, with payments in lieu of taxes and other levies at 9%, grants and other recoveries at 7%, and penalties and interest at 4%. Next slide, please. So user fees are basically the first step associated with budget deliberations, and they're an important input into our operating budget. Typically in September and October of 2022, we start our budget development with department heads. And so this was the user fees and charges bylaw process was a very collaborative process with all departments in the township. Tonight, we're having our public information meeting to discuss these user fees and charges. There's an engagepuslinch.ca survey for user fees input. It actually was released in early September, and it will close on on October 7th at 12 p.m. prior to reporting back on this matter to council. And then in October, we're hoping to do our council objectives direction to staff process, which will assist with the preparation of the proposed budget to council. In November, we're presenting our first draft of the capital and operating budget to council. In November to January 2023, we're going to have our engagepuslinch.ca survey for the budget. In January 2023, we're hoping to present the second draft of the capital and operating budget to council. And at that meeting, we'll be able to provide the median impacts to the typical properties in the township. So this includes residential, commercial, industrial, and farmland. And then in January 2023, we'll have our public information meeting for budget input, and with the hopes of adopting the 2023 budget in February of 2023. Some of these dates have shifted just a little bit, just in terms of the 2022 municipal election that's taking place in October. Next slide, please. So the purpose of collecting user fees is to allocate the cost for specific services to the users of those services. Most services are not full cost recovery, but the share of the recovery depends on the fair market costs and the service levels set by council. There's specific departments that are legislatively mandated, and that includes the building department through the Building Code Act and the Planning Act for planning application fees. Next slide, please. So the changes that are being proposed for 2023, similar to previous years, are to closely reflect the actual cost for providing the service while keeping in line with comparator municipalities. So when we propose a new fee or a change to a fee, we do look at our comparator municipalities. So those include the county-wide municipalities and the municipalities that border the township. We also adjust user fees and charges by the Consumer Price Index inflation rate. And so for Ontario, from May to May, it's currently at 7.8%. So as you may all be aware, that due to the impacts of COVID on the production and transportation of materials and goods and the availability of human resources in certain industries, the cost of most goods and services have escalated significantly in 2021 and 2022. And this has been seen in the municipal sector as well. The 2022 proposed user fees and charges were only adjusted by the 2% inflation rate, which was based on information that was available at that time through the Ontario budget process. However, they should, based on what's actually happening in 2022, that adjustment was not significant enough. And so the 7.8% is in line with what we're seeing for CPI trends in Ontario from 2021 to 2022. Next slide, please. So in the finance department, we're recommending the removal of the bid documents fee. And the purpose of that is that in the past, we completed procurement initiatives via hard copy drawings and reports. And now everything is done digitally. So through digital tendering, the cost of print drawings and contracts are already borne by bidders. Therefore, we're recommending that this fee be removed. We're recommending the consolidation of the online service fee to 1.75% of the total transaction amount. So the township also pays these fees to our payment processor on a percentage of the transaction value as well. We also have higher dollar transactions that we allow credit card payments for, just for convenience of customers, and also a lot of our services, customers are able to purchase the service online utilizing their credit card. And so we're recommending that this fee be consolidated into one fee, and this is in accordance with Visa and MasterCard merchant recommendations. The last item is the establishment of a third-party cost recovery fee similar to other township departments, and this would be used for more extraordinary matters, like something that wouldn't be used often. And the purpose of establishing this fee is basically if there's not another line item in the finance department that could be utilized to charge for third-party costs, that this fee could be utilized. And the administration fee of $100 is a consolidated fee for all invoices related to a particular matter. We don't see us using this fee that often, but it would be for non-recurring or extraordinary matters, and it's in line with our other departments, the fee that we're recommending here. And again, the administration fee is to recover the costs associated with the responsible department reviewing the necessary materials, determining the actual costs to be invoiced, submitting an invoice requisition to finance, and then finance staff creating an invoice, mailing the invoice, and processing payments for the invoice. Next slide, please. So in the Public Works Department, we're incorporating the municipal street naming fees based on the municipal street naming policy passed by council. And so the proposed bylaw includes those fees. Next slide, please. In the Fire and Rescue Services Department, we're recommending that we reference to a note which provides what the Mto Standard Rate is. So the Mto Standard Rate, they typically increase their rate in November of every year, and our bylaws usually pass in October. And so this will allow us to invoice insurance companies for motor vehicle collisions and other types of emergency responses at the updated MTO rate. So the MTO rate the Ministry of Transportation rate is periodically adjusted with consumer price index. So it's just a semantic matter of updating our schedule to just refer to the standard rate. And again, similar to the finance department, we're recommending that we establish a third-party cost recovery fee similar to other departments. Next slide, please. In the building department, just because we are now digitally reviewing building permit drawings, and the building permit intake process is all digital through Cloud Permit, we're recommending that we change the reproduction of drawings flat fee of $53 to just be $5 per page, and it would be for digital drawings. The fee recommended was developed in order to recover the township staff time and large format scanner lease costs, and it's in line with other municipalities and the township's current external print company. Next slide, please. So in the planning department, we're recommending that we establish a consent review and condition clearance, safe access clearance fee of $55 in order to enable township staff time to confirm safe access as a condition of a consent application, instead of charging the applicant the full entrance permit fee. We're also recommending that we remove the zoning bylaw copy fee because there is a fee in the finance cost center which would apply to that. It's just a general photocopy fee. Also, we're recommending some changes as it relates to Bill 109 implications for zoning bylaw amendment and site plan applications. And we're recommending that that an administration fee be applied for these matters. And basically the fee that's recommended is based on township staff's estimate of the costs associated with processing these applications. So it includes staff time, advertising when applicable, and mailing costs when applicable. So the idea is to collect the administration fee at the time of submitting the application. So we utilize county planners for specific types of planning matters as well, and those will be recovered as third-party disbursement and consultant costs through regular invoicing by finance staff. Separating and keeping third-party disbursement and consultant costs distinct from the township's administration fees will assist the township as it relates to the implications of Bill 109 and the refund provisions in that bill. And then we're recommending a mandatory pre-consultation administration fee. And that recommendation is also in line with the Bill 109 implications as well. Next slide, please. In the bylaw department, we're incorporating a filming permit security deposit, and that's in accordance with the filming policy that was recently passed by council. We're also incorporating a publicized displays application fee and appeal fee, and that's in accordance with the publicized displays bylaw that was passed by council in 2022. And we're renaming the special occasion permit fee to a special events permit fee. Next slide, please. We're recommending the incorporation of a reinspection fee of $75 for the cost recovery associated with this service. This fee would not be charged on first inspections. And so first inspections are the inspection that's conducted to determine if a violation is occurring. The reinspection fee would be charged each subsequent time that the bylaw enforcement officer attends the site to inspect and compliance has not been achieved. So just for everyone's information, the fee would not be charged for inspections for the purpose of gathering further information. Next slide, please. So we're recommending in the Puslinch Community Center Cost Center that we incorporate an hourly fee for full cost recovery of personnel costs based on the council resolution that was passed at the August 10th council meeting. We're recommending the removal of the microphone and projector rental fee due to repeated damages to the microphones, projectors, and ancillary equipment. We're recommending that the facility rental security deposit be increased to $1,500, and that was based on council direction at the meeting held on August 10th. We're recommending the removal of the bartender fee in accordance with the alcohol risk management policy that was passed by council. And we're recommending the removal of the electronic sign advertising fee in accordance with section 8.3 of the Advertisement, Communication, and Media Relations Policy. Section 8.3 of that policy provides specific stipulations as to when the outdoor marquee sign can be used and for what purposes. Next slide, please. I'd welcome any questions or comments from the public.
There we go. Thank you, Mary. Great presentation. Courtney, do you want to ask Ms. White if she has any questions or comments for Ms. Hassan? I believe she's the only member in the attendees section.
Certainly, I can just briefly unmute you, Ms. White, and you can let us know if you have any questions or comments.
I missed the very beginning, so I'm not sure if you discussed fee for looking for information in files at the council. I was in the township office last week or the week before, and I requested that a file be pulled, an old file about 40 years old, for one of the gravel companies, and was told that I had to file a Freedom of Information request and pay or request specifically what I wanted, and the staff would look for what I wanted. And the problem with that is you don't know what you want if you don't know what's there. So is there a fee for that? Should there be a fee for that? And did you discuss that earlier? I may have missed it. I was surprised.
I can just start and then I'll have Ms. Hoyt-Fox just add to it. So we do have a fee for Freedom of Information requests, and it's charged at the rate permitted in accordance with the legislation. But that's always been the fee that we've had in place since I've started at the township. But Ms. Hoyt-Fox, if you want to just add to that.
Certainly. So we do have the Freedom of Information request, which Mary has already stated is a legislated amount that we can charge, but we introduced a few years ago a routine disclosure process and fee, and that fee is established to recover the costs associated with staff time for researching, preparing records, redacting them. Oftentimes these files include information that's not going to be released to the public or needs to be redacted for personal information, third-party information, et cetera. So the routine disclosure is a different process than the Freedom of Information in that we don't have to wait. There's not a 30-day timeline. We can usually get it done in a few days. But the fees associated with the routine disclosure are to give staff the ability to look through the file, redact where necessary, and to recover costs associated with the staff time.
I suppose I have a problem with that, because what I was looking for was something I think that would benefit the township. I was trying to follow up. I wanted to look at a site plan for one of the old gravel pits. I don't know if I should be paying for staff to go through and redact signatures from a 40-year-old file. It just seemed to me that, you know, if someone came to my office and was looking for information, would I charge them for the time to go and pull that file? I don't think there would be anything in there other than signatures, if that has to be, but that would limit access. Wasn't asking for an FOI request, and I've done many of those over the years. I just wanted to look at a file. Didn't ask for it right then, but I would like that file pulled because I would like to look at the conditions that were on a specific license and a haul route that had been approved and agreed to by the owner of the pit back in the late 80s, early 90s at the time of the OMB hearing. I do have a copy here, but I wanted to see it on file. And I don't know why I should be paying for that. I was surprised, actually. I was shocked because I've had access to files in the past and very carefully gone through them. It's not like I was shuffling through things and sometimes putting them in order myself when I went through them. So in that case, I thought it was for the benefit of everyone who lives on this road, if I was able to present what that haul route was before I made a complaint about it.
Okay, Ms. White Fox?
Thank you for the explanation, and I think this is perhaps more of a procedure issue that we can look at a staff level rather than one of the fee issues. I think perhaps there was just a misunderstanding with staff. And again, something that we can look at with our procedure just to make sure requests like this can be accommodated without a fee. So again, apologize for that circumstance, and we can take a look at that at a staff level.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't looking, really for like as a complaint or an apology, but I wanted to make sure that in cases like that, it would not be so difficult for a member of the public to come in and look at an old file. I do understand sometimes there may be something in those files, but the old ones mostly not. And I
Okay.
hope they aren't destroyed. That's the other thing. And I know this is a little out of place at this meeting, but it's really important to keep those old aggregate files because that information does not exist anywhere else.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Ms. White. Is
Thanks.
there any further questions on any other part of the presentation?
No, thank you.
All right. I don't believe there's any other attendees. Is that correct?
No other
That's what-
attendees.
All right. I declare this public meeting closed. Council will take no action on this matter tonight. Staff will be reporting at a later date with a recommendation for council's consideration. If you wish to receive further notification on this matter, notify by email Mary Hassan at mhassan@pilsnich.ca or by phone at 519-763-1226, extension 222. Only those persons who leave their names will be provided further notification. If you wish to speak to the matter when it is brought before council in the future, you must register as a delegation with the township clerk prior to the meeting. I think that's it. Right, Ms. White Fox?
Yes, that's it.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
Enjoy the remainder of your evening.